Good afternoon. This is Chris Brecher with a Simpler Stocks free video for September 21st, 2016. As you can see, it's about 7 minutes after the close. Today was all about really finding your setups and sticking with them. Today we had the ES is down all of 175, flattening out before the Bank of Japan tonight and before the big old Fed meeting tomorrow. So the ESs were up a little, down a little, and just basically stayed around the zero. NASDAQ up only about 675, twice the index, so it gets a little more volatile. This could be the big deal. The Russell down 630, and we'll get to that in a minute. Dow Jones Futures down all of 4. Dow Jones Industrials up all of 9. Bonds up all of 7. Like you say, transports at one time were up 41. Notice the transports of what happened the last hour in here. Check that suckers out. 78.20 to 77.93. That's a 5-minute chart. In 10 minutes, it sold off 35 points. Very interesting. Yeah, the dollar up just a bit. Gold really just showing a big old sentiment prior to the Fed. I'm being sarcastic, up only at 20 cents. Advanced declines moderately negative. All day they were actually moderately negative, no matter what the ESs and the NQs did. With the volatility understandably up a bit today, people a little worried about tomorrow and tonight. You have the Nikkei up just a bit, not really much anything. You have the German DAX and the Dow Jones China not doing much either. So this is what I want to show you in here that I find interesting. We're talking about this on Simpler Stocks Premium all the time. I post email alerts all the time. At least 6 index charts prior to the opening, way prior to the opening, a lot of times the night before. And I try to come up with like 6 long ideas. Sometimes I publish watch lists. We have all sorts of creative ways. But one of the first things I do in here is I show the ESs, the NQs, and the TFs every single day because they all move together. The idea in here is look at the TFs on the left. That's the Russell. Look at the NQ. This is the Russell on a 195. And this is the Russell on the left on a daily. As you see, this looked like it had a little bit of a bull flag kind of feel to it, but it looked like it's trying to invalidate it. But then you see what happened today. This is what I want to show you. Look at the Russell, and now look at the NASDAQ on a 195. Now we're going to put this up here so you can see them on a daily next to each other, and then a 195 next to each other. See the similarity in structure? You got the sell-off. You got the little rally with the candle. The rally with the candle. But the big difference is the NASDAQ went almost to a new all-time high. You had the Russell in here just sit like a bump in a log. Now look at the 195, and it's very similar. This trying to go to a new high on the left, and this on the right not getting out of its own way. And this becomes really important now. The ES looks exactly the same as the Russell, even worse. Go and put the NASDAQ on the left again on a daily. And now put the ESs on the right on a daily. Notice the tight configuration on a ES. Much more looks like a bear flag. Now put the 195 of the ES on the right and put the NASDAQ on the left. All-time high in the NASDAQ almost. Look at this wedge. So a lot of people are saying, forget about this. This is going to wallow up here and fill this gap just like the NASDAQ did. I'm not so sure about that anymore. So the key in here for me is this. I don't know who is saying buy all the FANG stocks, which is the Facebooks, the Apples, and so on. But check out the NASDAQ on a 78-minute chart. Am I the only one that sees the head and shoulders top? Remember, we're talking about an index, and I'm going to put it on the right because I always like the shorter term on the right. This is a 78 on the right. And then on the left is going to be the daily. I love a head and shoulders top right at resistance because then I know where to get out, where my breaking point is if I'm wrong. But I'm telling you right now, if this breaks down and breaks this 47.98, then it could go down by this amount. You're wondering how much because it gets cut off. 48.41, 79.78. It's approximately 43 points. 43 points gets you right to here. Right in this area, right there. If this breaks, you got to think the ES is going to break down, not up. On the other hand, if the NASDAQ breaks up, then this will probably get invalidated and break up as well. So this is what I'm keying off of right here. That right there. And the other thing I'm keying off of is the Russell is inability to go to a higher high right here and to go to a lower high. Those are two big warning signs to me, and I'll be watching these very carefully tomorrow. So as you know, we have a $7 30-day trial that includes the chat in the morning that is from 9 to 10 Eastern, where we go over a lot of stock ideas. We had a lot of ideas work today. One after another worked wonderfully. I'm just telling you right now, we had stocks, at least 3 of them that went up at least 10% today, and then we were short some stocks and every one of the shorts worked. So you get the stock trades and chart ideas, index and futures charts, and unusual option activity if I see any. So the whole idea in there is I don't post them all the time, just when they seem important. That's part of it. You get the chat in the morning, and you also get an premium video that's a lot more in depth than what you're hearing now. This is more the tiles of what you get. All these services. Let me just tell you right now, let me give you a little taste of some of the stocks, what we did today. Here's one for you. I've posted twice now. ZIOP, straight up since I posted it. Here's another one for you. CARA, we like this one at $6. That's another winner for you. These are stocks, this is a 20% move. That could pay for your subscription for a year if you buy 1,000 shares. So I hope everybody's enjoyed this video. Looking forward to talking to you tomorrow. Tomorrow should be a really wild day. Have a great night.